Thoughts, a design and creative show. It's going to be hosted by me, Michael.
And me, Thomas.
So, me and Tom are both industrial designers. I guess, ultimately, that's how we met.
Right.
And it's where a lot of our interests hold, and
It's kind of what brought us together, really.
yeah, aside from what we'll get into later as
Company X.
Company X.
Yeah. I mean, if we weren't both in industrial design, we probably wouldn't have been at Company X. I guess we should, since we brought it up, we should probably start with that. We both, Michael and I, interned at a
construction set toy company, fairly local to both of us. We're both in college. Well, actually, I just graduated. And Tom, you still have...
Going in my my junior year. I got 2 years left.
Yeah.
Finished my sophomore year. And we're both BS, Bachelors of Science.
Bachelor of Science in Industrial Design and or Product Design. I assume if you're probably listening to this, you must be in a design field or have some creative nature to yourself. Or you're one of our parents. And in that case...
Hi, Mom.
We're going to say bad things, so maybe don't listen.
It's okay. My mom curses.
Your mom's hip?
My mom's hip to the jive, dude.
Yeah, I'd like to. Oh my god. I'd like to consider my parents to be hip, cool parents.
Yeah.
My mom listens to Knife Party.
Really?
Yeah. LRAD was her song back in the day.
That is amazing.
And I'm saying back in the day, like I'm old. That came out in like 2013.
That's amazing.
So.
But anyway, yeah, Mike just graduated, and I going into my junior year. But last summer, we both were looking for internships, and we stumbled upon this toy design company, which we'll call Company X for now to protect the innocent.
Yeah. I think it was, at least for me, I guess we'll talk about how we started, we applied, and, you know, kind of how we got into this position.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was a company that I remember we were having some like what a employer wants to see in your portfolio talk.
Yeah.
And there was an alum from my college that went through my industrial design program that was talking about Company X and how they worked there for 2 years. And then they shared the location, and it was like, that is 10 minutes from my house. Like, I grew up with Company X's products.
Yeah.
And, like, very fond, like, childhood, building things, having fun. It's not Lego. We'll just say that. It's not Lego.
It's a building product, but not Lego.
Kind of like Lego, but not really.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, my God. There's this awesome opportunity, possibly. Right in my backyard. So I went up, I talked to him, and he was like, you know, it was a great place. And... like, I worked there for a while, and then I wanted to do other things, and I moved on. But I can definitely, like, you should reach out to so-and-so. So I did. Tom, I told you, I'm going to get winded from literally talking. I'm not out of shape by any means. I just, you know, we're both new to this.
Yeah. I mean, I can pick up if you want.
No, I just needed a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I'll talk about how I found Company X.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, actually, my mom was like, "Hey, you've heard of so and so, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. I grew up with that." And she was saying that it's really local. It's about an hour from hour 2 hours from where I live, but I have a friend that I stayed at for the summer, and she said, "You know, you should really go for this." And I was like, "Yeah, it would probably be a really good experience, but like, what are the chances of them wanting to hire?"
Definitely.
Little old me, you know? So I kind of put it off for a while. And then I was like, you know, no one else is responding. I applied to a few other places. And I finally was just like, you know what? I'll send them an email. And
kind of a shot in the dark, right?
Yeah, it was a shot in the dark. And I was just like, hey, I'm an industrial design student. And I'm looking for an internship. I have like experience with your product. And I love using it. I love building. So I'd really like to get, you know, some experience in a design field. And I didn't get an answer for like 3 weeks.
Oh, that's so different from me, though.
That's funny.
Literally the same day I got a response.
I don't think I got a response. Because I remember sending the initial email and then not getting a response, and I was like, okay, they're probably not. I'll keep sending emails. So I sent like an email like every few days, just being like,
yeah. I'm in that with a company right now where we'd be like, hey, remember me?
I'm that guy.
Yeah, I'm the guy that you should hire.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I was doing. And they finally responded, and they were like, all right, let's do an interview. And I was in school at the time, so it was like a 2.5 hour drive from my school to get here. So we did a Skype interview, and it was really intimidating because they had like a huge table with the 3 main design bosses, I guess. What would you call them? Head of design.
Yeah. Were the 3 that we were most close to? Was it those 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just gonna
not
leave them nameless for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can come up with funny names for them maybe in a minute.
Yeah. But they were sitting at this big table, and there was a huge like American flag in the background, and I was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm a little intimidated, even though I'm on the other side of a phone interview.
Yeah, I think an interesting anecdote is you said an American flag behind you.
Yeah.
It wasn't just an American flag. Like, it was an American flag made of the construction toy in the background. That
it was huge.
It was, yeah, I mean, it literally took up the entire wall of their, like, conference room.
Yeah.
And it was huge. It was like a little theater.
Yeah. So, obviously, a little intimidating.
Yeah.
For me, little sophomore industrial design boy. Or no, I was a freshman. Yeah. That was after freshman summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really intimidated. But the interview was like fun. They were asking me like, so are you a original Star Trek or a Next Generation kind of man? And I'm like, okay.
What, they asked you fun things?
They asked me about movies and games and stuff, and I was like,
cool.
I was like, this is kind of great. These people are less intimidating than I thought.
That's usually how it goes. You build it up in your head.
Yeah, like obviously it's kind of a big company.
You build it up in your head?
Oh my god, because it's a building product.
Yes,
it's amazing. But yeah, they emailed me. I think if not the next day, then the day after the interview, and they were like, "Hey, you got the job," and I believe that was after you got the job, right? You got offered.
Do you remember what month it was in?
I do not. It was a while ago.
I reached out to them in very late in April, and then I was officially given the position on like May 1st or something.
Okay. And
then I started May 21st or something like that.
Yeah,
it was late May, like last week of May.
I didn't start until like.
You started
first week of June.
You started 2 weeks after I started.
Right.
So, I was there longer than you, but not it felt like significantly longer than you.
It was only a couple weeks though, right?
Yeah. I think it was 3 weeks. You left, and then I was still there for 3 weeks. Yeah. And then I was there 2 weeks before you.
Right.
So I was there a month and a week.
So it was a while.
Yeah. So to get into at least how I got hired, I would say if I have any advice to finding a design-related internship, like, you have to be nosy. I really, really looked on LinkedIn. So what I did was I found out that X company was that local to me, and I'm like, okay, who should I get in contact with to try? Like, if I send an email to just the companyx@gmail.com or whatever, that's gonna get lost, in
a swamp of emails.
What you want to do is put yourself directly in front of the person that would actually like direct your resume, whatever, to being hired. So I found the head of human resources. We won't name her. Why? At least now she's a girl.
Oh no, you outed her.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, I'm looking for an internship. This is my skill set. I grew up with your product. Let me know if you guys are looking for internships. And literally, from what she said, Company X had... Okay, actually, we cannot talk about the one thing that I was going to talk about because that'll give away the company.
I was just going to stop you because
yeah,
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. I was going to say the thing that we can't say.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were in a position where the usual way that they would hire interns was not there anymore, and they were kind of in a scramble.
Right.
And that same day that they got that news, and we're like, we have to hire interns, and we have no like usual influx of interns. I sent her my resume on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And it showed right up in her email. And she's like, wow, this is easy. So I literally got an email back that was like, hey, here's my personal phone. Like, give me a call whenever. We're looking for interns.
Wow.
This is like, I am in class.
Yeah.
I am in my 4-hour studio class.
Just kind of freaking out that you got an email.
I had sent this at maybe 1.
Yeah.
Studio then started at 2.
Yeah.
And at 3:30, I get this email be like, yeah, we would love to like have you for an interview and stuff. And at this point where I was I was a junior, and the way our studio worked is we would do like client projects. We actually got to work with a lot of really cool clients, which we won't name unless they want to sponsor us or something. But like actual big name clothing companies and stuff like that, where they'd be like, hey, we want you to do a line of this, you know, because they had alumni with the school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. The important part is we would work in groups of 5 to 6, like all of us. And if there's 30 kids, you know, that's like 5 groups. Did I do my math right?
What?
It's 5 or 6 groups. You know what I mean? So I'm like in the corner with my team. We're having a discussion. I get this email and they're like, they want to call right now. They're like, yo, dude, get up. Like, go call them. So I literally called them immediately. And she's like, yeah, actually, we're just about to close. You want to, like, call us back later? And then we set up an official interview time. And then
a little too eager.
Dude, nothing. I haven't been that excited in a long time.
I mean, when a company like that responds so positively to you, you're like, oh my God, this is actually possible, you know? Yeah,
so then I remember when we did our phone interview, Lisa... Oh, oops.
Gonna have to bleep that.
Yeah, we'll bleep that.
We'll bleep that.
She was 15 minutes late to our interview. And I'm like, wow, they don't care about me. And then I emailed her and she's like, oh, yeah, I just forgot.
Wow.
But no, and then we had that conversation and it was like, hey, like, are you local? Like, yes, I grew up here. And what else did we talk about? It was more like location. Are you familiar with the product? Like, yes, I grew up with it.
Right.
She's such a big fan. These are like my outside interests. Maybe it was something where they asked about like, do you play video games? Are you familiar with some of these stuff? Because they license those products and they deal with which was really cool to work with, like stuff that we're actually interested in. Yeah, which is the best part about the design field.
Yeah. Big Mike here and I both love video games and movies and stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like when I got that email that I was gonna get hired or that, you know, go down the track. I was like, I haven't been that excited in a while. I was like, the most excited for something like that I'd ever been is when Joker got announced for Smash. And it was at the Video Game Awards of 2018 or 2018. Yeah. I almost pulled my hair out.
That was also an exciting day.
Yeah.
But less so for you, more so for everyone that plays Smash.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Okay. You're giving me a look.
Yeah, because I'm stupid and I didn't get what you're saying, and now I do. But yeah, it was one of those weird things where, like, the head of HR got back to me almost immediately. Yeah. And it kind of is, I'm actually dealing with that now with another company where they get really excited initially, and then sometimes
it kind of falls off.
Yeah, and it's just, they go back to their boss, and they're like, you know what, we don't actually have the resources for this. And, like, you get so excited and then immediately let down. And it's one of those things.
That's an awful feeling, too.
Yeah, it's happened to me like 3 times now. So
yeah, tell me about it.
No, I don't.
I mean, I had the same luck, that kind of luck, bad luck. This summer looking for an internship, the same thing happened. Like, I would get a response. I also got a phone interview with a big company out in California that I will also...
Oh, yeah.
I will also leave.
That was really exciting. You were really excited when you told me about that.
So I called you.
Yeah.
Like, the day of.
Like many of our phone calls where it just results in us screaming at each other and making weird noises.
Which we are refraining from.
Yeah, that was... we have a little notebook and stuff, and some of the things in there are like we can't make noises,
sounds.
We can't sing.
We can't. Well, that's.
I think we will sing eventually on this show, but not.
We're a couple idiots, but anyway, that was a great phone interview, and she was like, "Yeah, we can like there's housing nearby. It's really easy transportation to and from like the campus where they do their thing."
Mm-hmm.
So I was really excited, and then like I had the interview on Friday, and then the Monday after, I called her, and she told me to call her, the lady that I interviewed, head of HR, and she was like, "Ooh, we actually gave the job to someone more local," which was, I mean,
it happens.
We're on East Coast, and this job was in California, and I don't know if they were trying to do me a favor, save me a trip, but like, I was really into it, you know.
Honestly, though, at least you got a straightforward answer.
Yeah. They didn't beat around the bush.
A lot of the times it's just like, hey, sorry you didn't get it. And like then you think I've seen one of my friends go through this a lot where it's like they just got a blind email that was like, hey, you didn't get it.
Yeah.
But it's like, is there something that I did wrong?
Why did I get it?
Did I do bad in the interview?
Yeah.
Do I not have the right skill set?
Yeah.
And like communication is always key.
You can't be afraid to ask.
Right.
Because it's like asking for feedback, you know?
Yeah.
My tip, I guess, is when you're interviewing, like after the interview, I don't think it's too bad of, like, especially if you're just getting out of college looking for jobs or looking for an internship, I don't think it's a bad idea to ask, like, why I didn't get the job. Like, ask for feedback.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Because it's helping you do better at interviews if the company is like willing to talk, you know?
Yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to know how to improve if you don't know what you did wrong?
Exactly.
Which is why, especially in the design field, constructive criticism is so important.
Yeah, you cannot get offended at every little critique. You have to take those critiques and you have to kind of weed out the ones that you like, okay, I don't agree with that, and really consider the ones that you think might be, you know, plausible when you're designing something, because sometimes a fresh set of eyes can see something you don't.
That's always the worst, when you're like, oh, I finally finished it, I figured out how it worked, and then like one of your friends comes over and like, you notice like you didn't paint that, or like you know that the minute you turn it on, this part's gonna break after a minute. But yeah, getting a fresh set of eyes, and I think the professors in college that I always respected the most are the ones who can give constructive criticism. There's a way to tell someone
you did something wrong.
You did something wrong, or I don't like it. Not actually, I was never told that they don't like something. It was always very constructive in that, like, this is why I don't think it's going to work, or this is a problem that I see arising from what you did.
Not an objective.
It's not like I don't like that, because you don't want to. I mean, you do want to please your professors in doing good work, but your professors, in a lot of cases, aren't the clients for the product that you're making.
Right.
At least in industrial design, or I mean, even if you're doing graphic design.
Yeah. It's not an objective. I don't like this personally. Like, this won't work.
Yeah.
It's factual. It should be anyway. A critique.
Definitely.
It shouldn't be your opinion. But anyway, back to the interview. We kind of got off topic there.
That's fine. I think we're gonna do that a lot.
Yeah. But that's kind of the point of the show, I guess, is just talking.
Do we want to just jump into like our first day, like when we started, kind of what the job was about?
Yeah.
Or did you want to go more into your interview?
No, I kind of wrapped it up.
Okay. Yeah, I think I did too. So ultimately, Company X was a company that puts out like a line of construction toys. It's one of those things, again, like Lego, where you have a set amount of pieces and then you have to build. Or not, you don't have to. I guess it's forced to. I guess it's a suggestion. But you know, you can build 30 things for a 7-year-old or something like that from the pieces that they give you. So me and Tom's job was to come up with those things that you build with the construction toy.
So it's like a set design.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at least my first day on the job, I got there, you know, obviously I had interviewed before and I met everyone and it was great. A lot of the office, was built out of the construction set pieces. Like some of the cubicles are built out of it, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah. And they have all their old sets that like they don't have them for sale anymore. They have all those like displayed in the front.
Yeah, the backlog of stuff that we got to see.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean,
you get to see a lot of history from this company.
Yeah, I mean, this is a product that me and Tom played with, when we were like little children, like probably when I was 8. Me and Tom are both in our 20s, so like this is a lineage of stuff we really haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic.
And to go off of that, my first job on the job was just familiarize myself with the product again. I remember, I guess, our closest friend, boss, what should we call them?
For reference, anyone listening, we're trying to not name our bosses or people we worked with by name, so let's call him.
Okay, let's call him Boss 1.
Boss 1.
The person who gave us our nicknames is Boss 2.
Boss 2, and then head designer was Boss 3.
We're not talking about management.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so Boss 1 came over to me. Very nice. Young guy, also in his 20s. Just here's 3 sets. Just build them. So I spent my entire first day building with the construction set, much like you would as a child or for fun.
Your first day was very different from mine.
Oh, yeah, they threw you right into the big one.
Yeah, keep telling your story. I'll get into mine.
No, so I did that for about a week. And then after a week, they were like, hey, build the one that takes, I'm not kidding, 15 hours to assemble this thing. And
is it okay to tell what it is?
I think if we did that, it would immediately give it away.
Let's just say
because that's their most iconic product.
Can we say how tall it, like how big it is? It's huge. It's a huge project.
I think we will. It was an amusement park set.
Yes,
it's so something in an amusement
as tall as a man.
Well, an average-sized man?
An average-sized man.
The one we built was 8 feet tall.
Oh, it was 8?
No, 6 feet.
I thought it was 6.
The one that they do for show for a toy fair is 8 feet.
We can cut this out if we think it's giving away too much. I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
But it's a huge undertaking.
It was really big, and it was one of those.
It was really big.
Yeah. Wow. So good, Michael. I went to college. It was one of those things where, since it's so big, you're making smaller modules. You're basically making pieces from pieces.
Right.
So I had to build a bunch of these modules to make the structure of the thing, and it got to a point where like you would open the instructions, right, and it's like
build 20 of these,
or build 94 of these,
94
and then you
is
spend
more accurate.
3 hours like building those parts, and then you got to put it around, and oh my god,
it was a huge undertaking. And you got that after your first week, right?
I got that after my first week.
I got that on my first day.
Yeah. All right, I think that we should get into that. So basically, like we said, me and Tom's job was to create things to create.
Yeah. So I'll talk about my first day.
Yeah, you talk about your first day.
I came in, and I met Boss 1, I met Boss 2, and Boss 3, and they were all super nice. Boss 1 kind of worked with us the most, I would say. Boss 1 and Boss 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just real quick. I actually didn't meet till your first day.
You said the name. Gonna have to bleep that out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. You didn't meet Boss 3 until my first day.
I didn't meet Boss 3 until your
That's
first day.
kind of funny because Boss 3 was head of the design group, right?
Yeah, they weren't there.
Oh,
they weren't there for 2 weeks. They were on vacation.
I see. Okay.
I think Boss 2 was as well. It might have just been me and Boss 1.
Boss 1?
Which is amazing.
That's
now
a good
that
time.
I think about
Boss
it.
1 was a good time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I met Boss 1, 2, and 3. Boss 1 kind of took me to my cubicle, which was directly across from Michael's.
And I had been there 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
Michael had been there a while. So he had
an allotment of stuff already.
He had like a lineup of like things that he had built, like kind of hanging around his cubicle, decorating it, which was half the fun of working there, was kind of decorating your cubicle with all the things you make.
Yeah.
But he sat me down, and when I walked into my cubicle, there's already Were the boxes? I think the boxes were already on the desk, right?
Yeah, I had to move them to your cubicle.
So I come in and there's just like 2 or 3 giant boxes of
They were
parts. Huge. And boss one says, "Well, get on it whenever you feel like it. Preferably before lunch. Just get building. Whenever you're done. And I'm like, great. What is it? And he cracks it open, hands me the instructions, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna take a while.
Yeah.
And I hadn't built things with this product since I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the whole point of like, hey, build this really daunting thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a warm up for what we're gonna do. So it took me what, 3 work days, 2.5 work days, something like that.
I count it. I believe it took me 15 hours. So we would actually work 9-hour, and not 8 or. Well, honestly,
it wasn't hard to stay there longer.
I would get there early, and they would have to kick me out because we were having so much fun.
Really?
Yeah, I got kicked out once.
Oh my god!
At like 6.
Why were you there?
And 6? the head of product design was like, "Yo, dude, you gotta leave." I'm like, but I'm having fun. I mean, obviously, I'm still on the clock. Yeah. That was probably the most amazing part. Is not only did we get to have fun and do something in our industry, we both got paid.
We got paid for it. We won't say how much, but we got paid, which was awesome because we got to have a really great experience in product design. We got to play with toys all summer.
Oh yeah, and
we got to get paid. So it was just all in all a great time.
I'll say that it was at least the most I had gotten paid by the hour. At that point, like Same here.
I mean, it's nothing astronomical, but it's a lot for a college student.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be ashamed. Like, we did work there, and we worked hard and long, and we got paid for it.
Yeah. But anyway, in my first day, I really want to touch base on you. You were dressed up to the T. Yeah. Just like It wasn't a suit jacket. It was like you wore a button-up shirt tucked in with like some slacks or something like that.
Was it? I was wearing my Dickies skinny fit pants. I always wear my Dickies.
Yeah.
No, I might have worn dress pants that day.
I think you wore dress pants. I think you wore slacks.
Tell me that I was in a tie.
You definitely had a tie on.
Okay, so for reference, everyone there dresses totally normal.
It's very
like
casual.
Jeans,
very
t-shirt.
Casual.
Like even the head of product design was doing that.
Graphic tees, like it doesn't matter.
And so here's my mentality. I am this intern that has been there for 2 weeks, and at that point, I really wanted to work there full time because they're local. I'm like, this is great. Like, this is so fun. So at this point, I'm like, Tom is my rival. He is coming in to take my job. So I'm like, I'm dressing real nice. I'm showing this other intern what's up and the hierarchy. I mean, did it work for that first day?
It was a little intimidating. I was like, okay, this guy dressed up. I wore like a collared like golf shirt with I think some cats. No, I wore.
You kind of always wore that though.
Yeah, I mean it's comfortable and it also looks professional. So.
I can't say anything. I wear the same thing and all black all the time.
But yeah,
but that day I didn't. I dressed up.
I wore the collared golf shirt. I wore some nice pants and I wore my nice shoes, and I was like, I really gotta dress nice. And I came in and then you're dressed like really nice, and I'm like, all right, maybe I gotta step up my game a bit here.
Did you dress up better the next day? No, I'm sorry, not better, but like
more fancy. No, I think I wore like the same thing. And then the next day you had like turned on a coin back to like. You were in casual clothing the next day, and I'm like, okay, so did I dress up too much? Is it like a Monday thing to dress up? Like, what's going on?
So at that point, I just utterly confused you. You had no idea.
I had no idea. I thought you were just like going back and forth between outfits, and I'm like, all right, this guy's doing his thing.
I was wearing cool shoes though, right?
Yeah, you like your shoes.
Yeah, that's an aside. Is I love my shoes.
Yeah.
I was wearing my Reebok Instapump Furies MTPs. They're my favorite shoe.
They're pretty cool. Yeah. I'm not even like a big shoe guy, but like as a design guy, I can say they're pretty cool.
If you know what they are, come on, guys.
But yeah, it was a little intimidating. But then I think after a while, we were just kind of like, hey, you're there, I'm here, let's build something together. I think we had like a little building competition, right?
I think what it was for me is, I mean, I would like to consider myself a pretty friendly guy.
Yeah.
Once I realized that you weren't in, like, you were still in school, like I was a junior going to be a senior.
Right.
You, as having just finished your freshman year, you were not then a direct competitor of me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like, and you're really nice. You're not like an intimidating person. And so at that point, I think it kind of kicked in, like, I want to lend any of my advice to this guy. And like, you know, we're going to be working together for a long time. So we might as well
be friends.
Well, not even friends at that point. Yeah. Be friendly at that point.
And I mean,
I think I remember showing you, I was working on a bee.
Yes. I was just going to bring
Sting.
Sting. Over the course of the summer, he made several iterations of Sting the bee.
Right.
But it was just the regular set colors, and he color coded them, guys. He made different colored bees.
Yes.
That was our summer.
In a nutshell, yeah, that was our summer.
Yeah, you were showing me like how to, I guess, build properly with it. You know
yeah.
What I mean? And then
should I give my story about that then?
Yeah, sure.
So, what I was showing Tom at that point, those first 2 weeks that I started there, other than familiarizing myself with the sets and stuff, there was a correct way to build. I won't even say, I'll say design the sets.
Yeah, there's more than one way to use them.
Right.
But there's a correct way.
There's a correct structure so that, like, you know, putting pieces together, there are certain combinations that might be put more stress on the pieces, causing them to snap. There's certain configurations that work like algorithmically so that you can continue building on that structure and pieces will always be the same distance away from each other or align correctly. And it's one of those things that if designed correctly, you'll never have to think about it as a consumer or a product user.
But as a designer, it's something you have to consider.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware of that for a while. Like, I built the initial huge thing.
Amusement park
item.
Set.
Yeah. And even after that, I was like, okay, yeah, that's built a certain way, but I don't know, like, if I have to keep to those rules. And you kind of showed me that, yeah, you do.
Yeah, I remember going to Boss 3, and originally my design, I made this big wasp. It was maybe like 2 feet long.
Yeah.
And it used a lot of parts. But I wasn't building the correct way. I wasn't designing the correct way. I went through a couple iterations of that. And I think it was that day where I was finally proud of, like, I did it right, didn't I? And then Boss 3 was like, yeah, this is really good. Like, you're finally learning how to, not, you know,
you're getting the hang of it.
Yeah, it was normal pace progression.
And once you understand how to properly use them, I guess, how to properly design them, I should say.
Yes.
It's just second nature. It's easy.
Yeah, and it was kind of one of those things that's like, it's one of the reasons I liked working there so much. It was like, you got to see, other than to not only meet some of the people that worked on stuff that had a big impact on your childhood, but like, we got to work with them, and like we were peers.
It was kind of surreal, I guess.
Yeah, I remember talking to Boss 2 about some stuff. I'm like, yeah, this was my favorite set from back in the day. And he's like, yeah, I made that.
He's like,
yeah, he's like, oh god, that was probably like 15 years ago, man. I don't know.
He was there for like the whole time, right? Since the product was around.
Yeah, he started as a duplicator.
Yeah.
So
a duplicator's, for reference, I guess, you build the initial model and then you have someone repeat it and count the parts
and then tear it down to count the parts so that they can do costing and stuff, like for raw part cost, which is another huge part of what we did. So,
which was also kind of fun, surprisingly.
Yeah, it was actually really useful because I remember then going into senior year and when we started our capstones, knowing how like MSRP and costing works and like wholesale stuff like that.
Yeah.
Since we had been doing that and like getting paid to do this,
it was kind of fun too because you had a price point that you had to match or go under, And
which was like $3.
Yeah.
For like
it's surprising,
a $50 or $60 set.
Yeah, it's surprising how many parts you can get in.
Yeah.
For $3. And it was just kind of fun because like if you're over the price, it's like, okay, we can switch out these parts for these parts, which are cheaper to make.
Mm-hmm.
We can cut down this, and it's just like redesigning to fit a budget, which I don't know. I thought it was really satisfying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was very satisfying. And that's another thing that took me a little bit to get the hang of. It's much like, I feel like you got the hang of everything quicker because I told, I got to share some of my insight. It's like what I was going to tell you when we were getting coffee and we were planning this. It's like having a younger sibling, which you wouldn't know. It's like that. Well, you are the younger sibling.
Technically, I guess. Even though I'm quite tall, quite a bit taller than you.
Yeah. But like, I remember my little sister, who's 2 years younger than I. Like, she would get things at the same time that I would. Like, personally, I got a cell phone at 13,
mm-hmm.
so she got one at 11. It's like, okay, so you made me wait. Like, where's the logic here? Dude. It's like, as the younger sibling, your parents are like, yeah, you know what? We tried. No, I don't care for this one.
I had it the exact opposite way. I was the younger sibling.
Yeah?
And I have an older sister. She's 22 coming September, I think.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter how old she is.
You just gave away your age then. It's fine, Tom. Continue.
Shit. It doesn't really matter. We said we're in our 20s.
Yeah.
And we also said we're just out of college. They're in college.
Yeah,
so
you can probably guess how old we are.
Extrapolate how young we are.
Unless I'm extremely smart and I skip like 5 grades.
Spoiler
alert, I'm not.
Anyway, she would get a phone at like, I think she got her first phone when she was 15 or 16. Our parents were a little more strict about electronic. I didn't have video games for a long ass time.
Wait, how long are we talking?
Like,
what was your first console?
My first console was a gift from my cousin. It was a used Nintendo DS.
Okay.
With,
I mean, good starting point.
Yeah, with Pokemon Leaf Green. It had like the Game Boy.
You're making me feel so old.
Had the Game Boy cartridge slot, you know. So yeah. I played Leaf Green like no end, and I got that when I was like 15. That was my first.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's different because like that wasn't what you. Would you like go to friends' houses and stuff and play their games?
Yeah,
because I had a friend, David, and I like don't know him anymore. Yeah. So, but I would like go to his house to play his PS2, and then I guess for reference, mine was a white Game Boy Advance that I played some Konami Frogger game on.
Right.
And that was probably in 2001. Which you were.
I was a child in 2001.
Okay, we're just gonna spoil it. I mean, I'm 23 and you're 20.
Yeah,
so that's fine.
I was a small child, but anyway, point is, my sister got her first phone when she was like 13 or 14, yeah. And I had to wait until I was like 16 or 17 when I was like almost out of high school, and my parents were like, yeah, you do track and field, you do sports and stuff. I guess you're gone a lot. You should probably have a phone. And I was borrowing my dad's cell phone until then. It's like. It was, I did not understand it. Mom, why'd you do that?
Tom, you yelled really loud in there.
I'm sorry.
Nah, it's okay.
I got worked up. I love you, Mom. I don't know. She probably won't watch this.
Okay. Anyway, back to track.
Point is, what's the point?
So you heard a little bit about what we did at the job, kind of how we got started. So
right.
Once we figured out how to design correctly and how to price out sets and stuff, we were tasked with, me and Tom personally both worked on a 60 model set that was priced, was it like $40 or $80?
I think it was 40.
Okay. No, it was 30.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay. So we had to come up with 60 models using probably $3 of parts, which was really hard.
Yeah, it was difficult, but the challenge was really, really fun. I think that was my favorite part of the job. I don't know about you.
Yeah. That, and aside from duplicating, I actually really love duplicating.
See, that's the thing. I did not like duplicating.
Oh
like, I would give you my duplicating projects.
Yeah.
And you would be like, oh, yeah, I can do this in like 20 minutes. And it would take me like an hour.
Well, I mean, everyone learns differently and everyone approaches like a design problem differently.
Yeah.
You were very meticulous in laying things out. I'm like...
Yeah.
Not to like flex, I think that I have like very good hand-eye coordination, like stuff like that. I play a lot of rhythm games. They're my favorite video game genre. I love DDR. He's flexing so hard. I love Beat Saber. I can play expert on. Actually, I cannot play expert on DDR, but I can play expert on Beat Saber.
You hear that, guys?
Yeah, I'm flexing. All right. Anyway, I could build faster than you.
The point is, yeah, I think you could kind of extrapolate what was going on faster. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm dumb, but
no, not by any stretch.
I'm just saying, like, personally, I like to be very organized about things, so I would pick out all the parts that were needed for the set first. Yeah. I would lay them out, and then I would build it, and it took way longer, even though I felt like it was easier. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because, like, I knew what I had to work with.
I would dump the bag on the floor and build it. I would sit
for it.
Most of the time, I would sit on the floor and build.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
No, I didn't. I was always.
You're an adult. I'm not.
I was always at the desk. But like, do you remember how many pieces were all over the floor?
Yeah, I cleaned both of our cubicles a lot.
Yeah, it was a mess. And then
that's just kind of what happened there, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of downtime here and there. Like,
all right, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this. There was a lot of downtime. So like when we're not replicating and when like we're taking a little break from building and
it's
counting
hard
parts.
To be creative.
It is
that long.
It is. We would have like little building competitions to like kind of motivate ourselves.
That's kind of how we first bonded too.
Yeah. And mine was crap in that first competition. And I was
the octopus.
Yeah. I loved it, but like it was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is.
Yes, it was.
We had some downtime. And in that downtime, we discovered that this product was excellent for rubber band guns.
Tom, do you know I haven't really thought about these rubber band guns in a while, and it makes me so happy that you remember to bring them up.
It's one of my favorite things that we did that summer.
You made a semi-automatic rubber band gun.
Yeah. It was like
a Gatling gun.
Yeah. It was a Gatling gun. It didn't work perfectly, but it worked.
Yeah. We used to break the pieces.
Yeah, we would
fix stuff.
We would cut pieces with like
so the rubber band would slip easier off of it.
We would cut pieces with like pliers, so that the way that the rubber band gun worked was more efficient.
Yeah, it was more efficient.
Do you remember the purple one I made? The purple and green one?
Oh, the one that looked like the Needler?
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah,
I loved designing those, and those were not built properly, but they were built sturdy. They would not break.
They were kind of built because I remember, not Hackaday. What's the site? Instructables.
Yes, yeah.
This product is very popular on Instructables. People would make rubber band guns out of it.
People can probably guess what we're working with, but we're not going to confirm nor deny.
Yeah. Company X. But we kind of got some ideas from there. I made a giant claw.
You did.
At one point, they used the rubber bands.
Really cool.
Yeah, I just edited someone else's design. Welcome to design. Start at 50%. Hey, their original ideas don't exist anymore, guys.
It's designing. It's designing and redesigning.
Editing.
But yeah, we had too much fun in that downtime with.
Do you remember? You remember when? So me and Tom were kind of doing this like under the radar.
Yeah.
Because again, we were hired to do some stuff.
I think they understood that there would be some downtime though.
Well, there was some days when we would crank out like 7 designs.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe more like 3 to 5. But
that's still a lot for one day.
You need a mental break, and they would do this as well, especially Boss One.
Yeah, especially Boss One. Boss One was chill as hell.
Yo, he was. Oh my
god. Very cool. Very cool. All of them were very.
We miss you, Boss One.
Boss One. If you know who you are, you're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean.
All of them are awesome.
But we've just interacted with Boss One a lot.
Yeah.
Point
Mainly because I felt like I didn't want to bother Boss 3.
Boss 3, and especially not Boss 2.
No.
Boss 2 gave us some fun nicknames. Because
I don't even know why he did it.
Because we had name tags on the outside of our cubicles.
Made of...
We're going to bleep that out. We just spoiled... We just spoiled what...
We'll just straight cut that.
Yeah.
They were made of the product.
Yeah. Our name tags were made of the product. They were super cool. Point is, Boss 2 didn't care.
No.
He called us Hector and Wong, which is not our names.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Not even close. We then wrote pieces of paper under our name tags of Hector and Wong.
We hung them haphazardly under the name tag, and it was really funny.
He would so me and Tom had cubicles that faced each other. So you couldn't, only we could see into each other's cubicles.
Yeah.
And
you'd have to walk down a hall to get
so
between our cubicles.
The bosses, all three of the bosses would walk in, look at both of us, and boss 2 would often come in and go, Hector, Wong, I got some duplicating for you to do. And
so
he was
funny.
like the most dad joke person ever.
He was. He played Pokemon Go, didn't he?
Yeah, he played Pokemon Go. Well, I think he did for his kids.
Yeah. Pokemon Go is another subject.
In every meeting, he was just on his phone.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like the whole time.
Yeah. We had, there were video meetings, right?
Yeah, with the company that acquired them.
Yeah. A distributor, right?
Yeah.
So we'd have video calls with distributors, and we'd sit in on those calls, which was also really interesting, and
it was mainly with sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and we would like roll out whatever products we were working on,
which really helped when you wear all black all the time, because then you're already the stage mover.
But boss 2 didn't care. He was always on his phone. At least I think he was always on his phone. I always saw him on his phone.
Did his work, did awesome stuff, but like when they were talking sales numbers with like marketing and stuff,
yeah,
he's like, yo, no,
nah, dude.
No.
Boss 2 is cool though. He was chill.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Hector and Wong. I was Hector and you were Wong.
Other way around, my friend.
I'm so sorry. That's a critical error. It's been like,
you were Wong because you did everything Wong.
Wow. Oh heck, that's good.
Oh,
we got another little memory.
So Hector and Wong really got its start when we were working for another company that's owned by the same like family company. We were doing some other construction toy sets and stuff, but we had to make a presentation to show our 3 boss. Actually, it was everyone, and I think you weren't there that day. And then boss 3
came in.
Also, actually, the head product manager wasn't there, and I gave the whole spiel about everything, which sucks. I was like, I have no idea. But we made a literal PowerPoint, and it was like oh heck, that's good for what we did right, and then everything we did wrong. So we showed our whole process, which is really important in the product design world.
We just had some fun with it.
Yeah, we had some fun.
And we both discovered that we're on a similar subject, but not quite related. We're both fans of.
Are you gonna talk about Zoot Suit Tom?
I'm gonna talk about Zoot Suit Tom.
Okay, please do.
For those of you youngins out there who don't remember, Tom and Jerry was a big thing for us when we were growing up.
Was it something that your dad showed you?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, my dad had him on VHS. And
my dad showed me. I would watch it at my grandparents' house. They had it on VHS. VHS was before DVDs, guys.
Yeah, for all you literal children playing Fortnite. VHS was what we used to watch things back in the day.
Yeah. And we're actually
a VCR.
I don't want to sound like I'm old and I know stuff, but we're 20. We grew up with VHS.
Yeah.
Point is, we watched a lot of Tom and Jerry, and for those of you who remember good old Zoot Suit Tom, that's our favorite episode.
Benny.
I love you. When I am with you, I am a hip cat.
Nice voice crack. Also, we would often do these voices and watch that video in our cubicle. So they faced each other.
Multiple times a day.
We made both of our backgrounds a picture of Zoot Suit Tom, like making a funny face, but they're looking at each other. So, and we left that up the whole time.
If you
when I left there, that was still the wallpaper.
Yeah. If you came between our cubicles where they face each other and you look to your left, you see
there
Zoot Suit Tom looking at you. You look to your right, and there he is again.
Yeah. One day I want to cosplay Zoot Suit Tom. I really do. Or you should cosplay him, and then I'll be Tom, or I'll be Jerry.
You'll be Jerry because you are shorter.
Yes. Thanks. Putting me on blast.
Michael is.
I'm not that
short. Your average height.
No, I'm not. I'm shorter than average height.
Okay, and I'm
average height's what, like 5'8"?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
For a male?
If it's 5'8", then I'm slightly above average height.
I don't know. I'm gonna say 5'8" to make myself feel better. But I'm not even that tall.
But yeah, Zoot Suit Tom was a big part of our time there.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. We're just kind of reminiscing now about how much fun we had at this at
yeah,
Company
but
X.
like that's some of the most fun stuff that I love to listen to is just like stories.
Yeah, and
I think
like as a design related show that we're doing here, we're gonna, for future episodes of this, we're gonna probably bring in a camera. We're gonna probably build some stuff, do some things on camera.
We would love to do video content. We just really want to get ourselves started here.
Yeah,
and then
kind of introduce ourselves.
Right, and then work into something. But I think that a really nice insight, especially for the beginning of this episode, I kind of didn't see it going in the track of getting an internship advice.
Yeah.
But like that's really useful stuff for people in the design field. And, something that me and Tom can both give our insight on is the toy industry.
Yeah.
Like I even wound up going to Toy Fair with the company this past year, which was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I went there with more of an intention to talk and get hired with people, but they were there for like sales stuff. And
yeah.
You like immediately when they saw my exhibitor badge, they were like, okay, goodbye. Honestly, some people were very sweet, but others were just shoo me away. And it was really hard.
Yeah.
And it kind of, honestly, for me personally, there's a lot of great avenues in the toy industry. It showed me that I had like my bigger passion really was lighting.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do.
I think, sorry, I'm just going to interject real quick.
Go for it.
I think that experience, like talking to these other companies at Toy Fair and seeing that not all of them are like...
Not all of them are Company X.
Yeah, not all of them are Company X. Not all of them are willing to hire someone so easily,
Yeah.
I think it makes... I wasn't even there, but I think it makes me feel pretty lucky. I think you should feel pretty lucky too that Company X, like...
Yeah.
Actually
it's one of those things that's like on my resume that is an immediate talking point. People are like, wow.
Exactly.
Especially
for someone like you're out of college.
Yeah, back when we were still in, or back when I was still in college.
Yeah, it's a huge thing to have on your resume.
Yeah.
On a little tangent here, my biggest piece of advice for anyone that's like thinking about college, thinking about a greater education, or even just like wanting to get a better job, is to do things. Get stuff on your resume. My dad had me at like 7th grade going out getting an internship with an electronics company.
Yeah,
and
which
I
is
was
so
a
good.
Kid, like, but my dad knew the guy, and I stayed at his place with his family. Really, really great guy. Very grateful to him. But that got me a start. That got something on my resume. And then like every year of high school, I was interning.
Mm-hmm.
And while, yeah, sure, I didn't get those fun summers of playing games and going to the beach and stuff.
I didn't get that either, and I didn't have internships.
But like, I think at this point I have a resume that kind of speaks for itself,
Yeah,
and I think that's super, super important today.
Anything that you can do to set yourself apart from anyone, that's the biggest thing on a resume.
Exactly.
So do those extracurricular stuff. And another piece of advice that I would give is like those stupid things that you think are dumb that you do in your spare time that are really cool.
Yeah.
Or even if you're like very into games. I remember, I would say honestly, my intro to being interested in design, or just, I always, when I was little, knew that I wanted to be creative. I didn't know necessarily what avenue that was, but I wanted to be able to create and to make. And I think that Little Big Planet 2 was really that game where I started to realize that like I'm not even playing a video game at this point. I am creating things in the level editor for hours and hours on end, and that's where I would hang out with my best friend and stuff.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the Forge world and Halo Reach.
I was gonna say that's probably what it was.
Yeah, I was an Xbox boy. You were a PlayStation boy.
Stay strong. Long live the PS Vita. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Big Mike here is Vita's last fan.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Vita's last fan.
I'm not gonna plug myself because I'm not a fucking douchebag.
Damn, dude.
I'm just kidding. But crap, what was I gonna say? You got me distracted with your fucking
advice
Twitter plug.
We're talking about advice.
Yeah. I just get things on your resume. I know a lot of people in college now, and I'm not gonna say any names, but like they don't have a whole lot on their resume, and it's really difficult for them to get a job. I'm not saying it's gonna be easier to get a job with like more on your resume, but it'll make it stand out. Employers will see that, they'll say, "Oh, this guy's he's trying to get experience," and I think it makes you pop a little bit more.
Yeah, and never be afraid to reach out to some people.
Yeah,
I've gotten my most job interviews and job opportunities from literally going, "Hey, like there's no hiring, they're not hiring or whatever," and you just send them something because ultimately, like, you're already not employed or hired there.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, the worst that could happen is they're going to be like, "Hey, no," or we'll keep your resume around for next time.
Yeah. I mean, if I initially when I was emailing Company X, I'm like, this is never going to happen. Like,
yeah, no, 100% my thought too.
It's a very lofty goal.
Yeah.
And it happened. This is going to be really boring for like older listeners that already like have a job.
Dude, who's 40 listening to this?
He's got a point. But yeah, it's getting someone on your resume, and don't be afraid to talk to people.
Yeah,
networking is huge.
Now, honestly, that's why you go to college.
Yeah,
especially if in the design field,
you make connections.
Yeah, we're not addressing that. Inside joke.
Funny inside joke.
It really is hard to do that stuff, but like I even know, like for both me and Tom, they asked us what video games we play in our interviews.
I think they might have done, like, not that they're interested in that. I think that's kind of like yes, they did have some products that were,
they had video game products.
licenses, but I think it's kind of to make you not be so intimidated, kind of like a more relaxing question.
Yeah, the company we worked for was extremely relaxed.
Yeah, and it definitely made me feel a little.
I mean, that's why we loved it so much.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about Company X in future episodes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely. I think what we should close on here. Obviously, you can tell that me and Tom had a lot of great experiences and are good friends. But I think one of the things that kind of kept us communicating, and because obviously, like, we don't go to the same school, we're at least 3 years apart.
Yeah.
We both play Pokemon Go, and it was and it was one of we still play to this day. I'm very active.
Yeah.
But you live in the boonies.
Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere. So there's not many Pokemon out there. So I kind of come to visit Michael to do like community days and. Yeah.
And doing that community day once a month was obviously we were friends and we would talk.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where like, all right, we're gonna hang out for this a lot of time, and this is the communal thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that I love that game so much is not only is it cool to have that like AR experience and you walk around and you're actually outside, but like you meet people.
Yeah.
I met people at college through that. Like I met architecture students that I would have never interacted with otherwise through this game and like all the community aspects of it. And I think it really speaks to the power of it. Like obviously, Tom, I think you're stuck with me now. But originally, like that's what kind of kept our friendship going for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
like
then
after work, you didn't have a car at the time.
Yeah.
So I would drive you home.
I was learning to drive at that time.
Yes. I would drive you home, and on the way home, we would like play Pokemon Go. And sometimes we'd stop for coffee and play Pokemon Go at the coffee shop, and it's just.
Someday we're talking about coffee.
It's we both like coffee a lot. I think a good overarching kind of goal of this episode, or what should I say?
Networking, communication.
And communication. Yeah, don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to ask. And yeah, just be yourself. Don't pretend to be anything you're not. Mm-hmm. And I think that advice has been given 10,000 times, but I think it's good advice.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got for this episode. Right.
Yeah. So, again, my name's Michael.
I'm Thomas.
thank you guys so much for listening to Thoughts, our
if you stuck around this long, thank you.
Our design and conversational related podcast. Thank you. And we'll see you later.
Yeah. See you next episode.